Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's video, I want to talk to you about where my mindset is currently at in relation to luxury shopping, luxury handbags, spending this sort of money on handbags, if I have gone off that, why my shopping has been quite different recently, what the thinking behind that is, am I doing one in, one out, and basically where I'm at, and have a chat with you about my current thoughts on luxury shopping. And I know there's been a couple of videos put out on the internet about being over bags or kind of being done with bags or not being interested in bags anymore or not really being interested in luxury fashion or being bored with handbags. And I can tell you right off, it is not that. It is absolutely not that. I totally understand if people reach that point, that they are at the point that they don't really want to buy any more bags or they're kind of not interested anymore, but I'm not at that point, and that's not why there has been a change in my shopping and in my spending. I love luxury fashion. I love handbags. I say luxury fashion. I love all luxury fashion. I don't really have the bank balance to always be able to shop handbags and accessories and footwear and ready-to-wear designer level, as in Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Hermes designer level clothing. That's not something I have a huge amount of. I do have some good quality clothing, but I also still shop a lot of high street. My wardrobe is very much a mix of high and low end, and I put those together to work for me. The dress I'm wearing at the minute is from New Look. It's very, very inexpensive, but when I style it up with my accessories, I think it looks really, really well. I actually have featured this in a video recently about my new in autumn fall fashion, and it's all high street. I'm not sure which video will come out first, so you may have already seen this, and I will link it down below because it's very, very inexpensive, but I think it's really beautiful. So I do mix my shopping very much with high end and low end, high street and designer generally focuses more on the accessories because I can put them with anything and put an outfit together and elevate any piece that I am wearing. So it's certainly not that I have suddenly become bored or fed up or not wanting to shop luxury handbags anymore or not interested. That's not the case. And you will still see, and you will still have seen unboxings. You will have still seen Chanel unboxings, Louis Vuitton unboxings, Dior unboxings, and I hope that they will continue. But you might have noticed a bit of a shift in my channel in that generally now when you are seeing new handbags coming in and unboxings, I'm telling you that something has went and I've sold something or let something go for that purchase, or I've had a vlog sale because of the bits that have came in. And for the last couple of years, I would say that my shopping has been at quite a high level and I shopped without really letting anything go. I did sell the odd thing. I let the odd thing go that I just didn't use or wasn't working for me, but I wasn't really thinking about it. And I wasn't thinking about if I was shopping or bringing things in or buying handbags that I had to let things go. And it's probably still not at the point that I have to let it go, but my mindset has switched since the way I've been shopping over the last 2 years. Currently, I can say my mindset has switched. And it's a lot to do with the way the economy and the world is right now and how my financial goals have changed and my financial priorities have changed. And I am not a financial advisor, but when there are changes in the market and when the economy changes, I try to adapt to those because I do have a business, I do have investments, I do have responsibilities, and I try to adapt my mindset and my financial planning to what is going on around me. And over the last 2 years, although we had lockdown, we weren't traveling, we weren't spending money on any of the holidays we normally go on. Interest rates were at an all-time low. So savings, and that's different from investing, but savings weren't generating a huge amount of money. And there was spare money about from having not been anywhere for 2 years. And I was shopping a lot more at a luxury level than what I normally would have shopped. But fast forward to now, and we're now in a position where inflation is at an all-time high. The interest rate for the Bank of England yesterday reached the highest interest rate it has been in the last 3 decades. It's currently 3%. And while that is good news for savings and certain investments, it is bad news for borrowing or for anybody that has a mortgage. Now, we don't have borrowings, but we do have a mortgage. And the impact of the interest rates going up means that if your fixed term mortgage ends and you go to enter into a new term, it's going to be at a higher rate because the mortgage rates have been pushed up, all of the packages are going to be pushed up, and you're going to be paying more on a monthly basis for your mortgage. Also, the flip side of that is that savings interest is going to increase. Now, it's probably still not going to be huge because the world is going into a recession, and it's going into a very difficult economic climate, I would say, for about the next 2 years at least. But savings interest probably is going to go up a bit. So I have been reflecting, and I've talked about this a lot on my other channel. If you follow Amelia Rose Talks, you will probably have noticed that there have been videos on budgeting, on avoiding lifestyle creep, and on anxiety, on how I've been feeling, on personal finance. And it's because that's where my mind is at the moment. And my mind has probably moved away from constantly wanting to shop to wanting to address and focus on and deal with head on the current economic climate. And what that means for me is I want to be focusing more on financial goals. I want to be putting more into savings because the interest rates are going to go up. I want to pay more lump sums off our mortgage because the interest rates are going up. I want to keep more money in our emergency funds, in our everyday spending funds, in our bills funds, because inflation is going up. And when inflation is going up, it is driving the cost of living up. And the cost of living going up is driving inflation up. So we're in a bit of a vicious cycle. The cost of everything is going up. Electric, heating, food, you name it, it's going up. Now, this is not something I normally talk about a huge amount on this channel. I talk about this a lot more on Amelia Rose Talks, but it directly impacts this channel and it directly impacts what I will be spending and shopping on this channel because it directly impacts my mindset on luxury shopping. I want to be giving priority to those other financial goals for a period of time. I want to pay more off our mortgage. I want to put more in investments. I want to put more in savings. The thing about a recession is when the stock market is low, and we do have investments in stocks and shares, but when the market takes a dip, if you can afford to be in the stock market for the long term, and I'm not a financial advisor, get financial advice, but for me, and my own personal circumstances, if you can afford to be in the stock market for a long period of time, when the market is low, it is actually a good time to buy and invest into the market. It's a bad time to sell. If you don't need to, don't. But it is a good time to buy. So we will also be investing more money into the stock market at the current position because stocks are lower. And if you look back through history, if you look at the stock market, when it dips, it inevitably comes back up. So yes, you're buying at a low at the minute, and some of your existing stocks or investments might be coming down to a low, but they will come back up. And if you can invest in the long term, as we intend to do, it is a good time to invest money into the stock market. So I also want to increase the investments that we make into the stock market for our long-term future and investing. So what does that mean for this channel and my mindset on luxury shopping? I still love these things. I will always love luxury shopping. I will always luxury shop. So I will still be shopping handbags. I will still be unboxing handbags. I will still be unboxing clothes and accessories and shoes. But there will be a more complicated financial picture behind it now. So when I am buying handbags, and there are unboxings to come, there's beautiful bags to show you, but there was the vlog sale. And there are things that will go out, and I will have a more probably stricter view with myself that if I am bringing things in and if I'm bringing bags in, I really need to look at what's sitting behind me and what I don't use. And if there are bags sitting there that I'm keeping just because I think look pretty, and I'm really thinking about the Chanel bucket bag at this stage because I loved that bag. But if I am keeping it only because of the way I like that it looks sitting there, that's madness in the current climate for me. That is madness. And if I'm not using it at all, and if I'm only keeping it there to look pretty, I am going to be letting things like that go for the things that I am bringing in because I am just reevaluating my financial priorities. I do still keep a luxury fund. I've talked about that a lot. I keep a separate bank account for spending, for shopping, for things like this. There is still amounts going into that on a monthly basis, but I have rejigged the percentages because of the inflation, the cost of living crisis, the interest rates, everything I've talked about, the investments, the savings. I've moved things around. So there is less going into that account on a monthly basis and more going into other financial priorities that make better financial sense for me and my family at this stage. And I know this is very much a video that I normally talk about on the other channel, but I was thinking about my mindset on luxury shopping and the impact it was going to have, and I think it does make sense to also talk about it on this channel, because one of the things I say when I talk about budgeting and finance on Amelia Rose Talks is I want to show the reality of the balance. And for me, because I am not a multimillionaire, don't get me wrong, we are very blessed and very comfortable, but I am not a multimillionaire. So it is not as if there are just buckets and buckets and buckets of money to keep spending and spending and spending and spending. So I talk about on that other channel showing the balance and showing the balance of budgeting behind the shopping, showing the balance of letting things go, of saving, of investing, of my financial position and how I set it up and my money management to make more sense of this and to not give the impression that I constantly just can shop without having to think about it or without having any consequence. And I know that I don't owe you an explanation for my shopping. And I know that I don't have to explain this to you. But I think for myself, when I have a channel that I sit here and I show you things and I talk about handbags, which I love, and I talk about fashion, which I love, and I have another channel when I talk about finance, I think for me it makes sense to explain to you what is going on behind it, what my mindset is, the balance that I'm talking about on the other channel with budgeting and different financial priorities, and how that is impacting on my shopping. So yes, you will still see things coming in on unboxings and hauls and everything like that, but you will also hear about more going out. You will see the vlog sale that may already have been live. I'm not sure which will go live first. You will have noticed things going out. I'm not saying it's strictly one in, one out. I'm not, because if there's something that I see and I love it, I'm going to buy it if the money's in that particular account for it. But I am going to be much more critical on what is sitting around me and what I use and don't use and what is really just a very expensive ornament. Now, that being said, I do have the Louis Vuitton Speedy in the multicolour that is a very expensive ornament that sits in my office, and that's why it was bought. But there are bags here that weren't bought to be just ornaments. They were bought because I thought I would use them and love them. I am not a collector in the true sense of the word. My good friend Meredith is, and I adore her collection. I just want to get lost in that room for days, but I'm not. I do have a collection of handbags, but I buy bags to use. And there are bags that I've bought, like that Speedy, knowing that it will sit there as an ornament, but the vast majority of them I buy thinking I will use. And if those bags are not being used, that's when it stops making sense for me. And that's when I now need to be a little bit more critical with myself and make decisions about what is going out for what is coming in. And I talked about that in the vlog sale. I talked about that when I unboxed the denim Chanel maxi bag or jumbo bag. I talked about that, and that's why, because I'd been touching on it in videos like the vlog sale and the unboxings, I wanted to just come on and have this chit chat style video with you to bring you up to speed with where I'm at and what my current view on luxury shopping and luxury fashion is, and my current view on spending money versus the balance of what is going on in the world, because I don't live in a vacuum and I have employees that I have to be responsible for. So I have to be very, very sensible with my finances, and I have to make decisions that mean there is financial cover for certain eventualities that I may not have foreseen. There needs to be more in these times when things are rising, in the emergency funds, in the business funds, in the different funds that cover lots of different things. And hopefully we get to the end of this and there's surplus and I didn't need to be as cautious as I was. But I will always be the cautious side to make sure that I'm not left in a position where I can't cover my responsibilities. And that is why you've been hearing me talking on this channel about hard decisions being made, about bags being sold. That's why there was the vlog sale when other things come in. That's why when you have heard me talking about unboxings, I've been talking about what went out to make room for that. And that will be the decision making behind what I am buying now. There will be probably more of a thought process than there has been in the last 2 years. And that may not say something good about me, that I was probably more flippantly than I am now spending this type of money, but there wasn't the same need to be as cautious because the amounts that were there for frivolous spending I hadn't rejigged and reevaluated, whereas now I have reset some of those onto other priorities, and that is just really bringing you up to speed and having a chat with you about where my current view is on my luxury shopping. I still love it. I'm not bagged out. I still absolutely love it. For anybody that is, though, I can see that is entirely their position and their view, and I can see why if you've been buying handbags for a very long time, you may just need a break and you may just have reached a point where you think, I have enough for now, and I think that's fabulous. I actually do whenever you think of the amount of money we're spending on these. For me, I still have an interest in them. I still love them. I'm still looking in the websites. I'm still looking in Fashion File. I'm still looking at the bags I really would love to buy. I'm still looking on Farfetch. I'm still looking at fashion. I think it's a bit of an obsession. Dale's addiction. Amelia's addiction. Maybe we could have joined up on that one. But I do think that it's right for me to come on here and have an honest discussion with you that although that is still very much my passion and what I'm looking at and will be talking to you about, that there has been a bit of a shift in my mindset and how I'm working my finances behind it and how I'm affording these things and how I'm working out where my money is going. So I hope this has been in some way interesting or informative, or that it maybe gives you a bit more insight into what's been going on with the vlog sale and the unboxings and when I touched about this. And if you watch my other channel, because you will have seen budgeting and lifestyle creep and other personal finance videos over there that probably now make more sense whenever taken in conjunction with this video as well, linking in with this channel, because obviously I am one person and those two channels are connected. So I hope this has given you some insight. I hope it's been interesting. Thank you so much for watching me in this video. Thank you for always watching me. Please take care and I will see you again in the next one.